Yo. So we start our journey off halfway there. Currently in a town it's a gambling town between Nami no Kuni and Konohagakure. And I see that it's a gambling town. I look at Liz and say, fetch. So she runs into town, and everybody looks at me like I just said something weird. And Naruto's like, what are you doing? I go, just wait, you'll see. And maybe an hour later, we 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 hear the sound of somebody punching something and leaving craters behind. I just start laughing on the ground. So Liz trots up to me and drops a pig that has beads around its neck and a little jacket on right at my feet. I pick up Tauntaun and calm Tauntaun down. You see what's happening? Shizune comes running into the clearing, trying to get Tauntaun back, and sees two teams of Konoha ninja. Tauntaun in the hands of someone in a cloak, who calm and relaxed. and then she sees how everybody's just like, what the fuck is going on? Except for me, who's sitting down with Tauntaun in my arms. Tsunade comes in. It's like, where's that damn mutt? I go, oi! She's a wolf, not a mutt. If you want a mutt, summon Kakashi's ninhounds. He looks at me outraged because I called them a mutt. She goes, why the hell did you do that? I go, well, first off, who was your grandmother? Mito. What was her full name? Uzumaki Mito. I look directly at Naruto and say, there's some family for you. And his eyes widen. I look at Tsunade and go, I know who his parents are. I know what he holds. I know pretty much everything about him because, well, kind of paranoid about my friends. Kakashi snaps his head towards me and goes, what? I go, what? Aren't I supposed to know everything about my friends? To keep them safe and keep them out of harm's way? I look directly at Naruto and go, remember your goal? Do not say that around her. Because she'll blow your head off into paste. Just saying. And Shizune's like, what is his goal? I walk right up to her and whisper it. Nobody heard me. Except for Shizune. Well, I had Liz and Tauntaun, who are currently right next to me. I hand Tauntaun back to Shizune. So we sit down. Well, they sit down. And I look at Tsunade and go, oh, if you ever need to get out of debt collectors, just steal him from the village for a little bit. I point at Naruto and she goes, why? I go, you know how you have the worst luck possible? Every time you win, something bad happens? She goes, yeah. He has the exact opposite. Every time he loses, something bad's about to happen. And how does this help us? Because I play a dice game with him every morning. Nothing bad's going to happen today. They all look at me like I'm freaking crazy. I go, remember the Mizuki incident? They all look at me and go, yeah. Yeah, he lost at craps. And they all like, okay, that's one instance. You know the Uchiha Massacre? He lost at poker. They all look at me like that's only a coincidence. Every other time I play with him, he doesn't lose. Looks directly at Shizun and Tsunade, pulls out a deck of cards out of pretty much nowhere. I go, you want to see? She goes, sure. Play for nothing. And you go, we just play for fun. I'm not a gambler, even though I know how to cheat and win at the exact same time. And I'm going to heavily skew the deck towards you guys. Like, massively skew the deck towards you guys. And just watch what he pulls out of his ass. So we play a few rounds because everybody's still waking up and getting ready because we had to spend the night. And 5 out of the 12 games that we played, we played a max of 5 hands each. Tsunade and Shizun won. And that's because Naruto did not play anything. He folded immediately. But when they flipped over his cards, winning hand. Every damn time. So, I'm like, now one last bet. I have a bet for you guys. I bet if he wins this next hand, you come with us on the mission and you have to bond with him. Hold up. But if he loses, you get a 50% stake in the business that I'm currently employed in, which is myself and I. And we make these. I pull out a sheathed blade. We make these. She goes, what are those? I go, this is a special kind of blade. I walk right up to Naruto and go, you remember what I did with my blade when I first got it? He goes, yeah. You stabbed it right into your own heart. I go, yeah. Pulls down on shirt, jacket, and everything. Shows a little thin line. And then they follow the line. And it just disappears into my... the shadows of my clothes. And I go, there's a giant thing in the back. And you don't need to worry about that. So you ready? This is the second one I've made. I can make a lot more of these. But they're special order and only ones that I approve of. And he goes, sure. I take out the gladius, a traditional Roman gladius. So you remember those short blades from, like, I think 300 did it correctly? I don't remember. But a traditional Roman gladius. Or Greek, or wherever it first came out of. But a traditional gladius. And I jabbed it right into his heart. And the blade just melted. And I go, 3, 2, 1. And the blade reforms right in Naruto's hand. And I go, seals are now imprinted on your very soul. Oh, and check your stomach real quick. Go over there and check your stomach. And he goes, okay. So he goes over into the forest and checks his stomach and sees the Shikifune is gone. And he comes back and goes, where is it? I go, check the blade. He looks at the blade and he sees the design of a 9-tailed fox on it, being chained down on a shield at the base of the blade. And he goes, why is it on a shield? And I go, your soul represents something about you. And each person has a different emblem on their blade. Most times it is the normal blade that has some different in it. But when it's a different kind of blade, it's got to show it on a different thing. Well, the name of your spirit is the name of the QB of that thing. I don't actually say QB. is the name of the thing on the shield. But your weapon turns into the thing that's holding the other thing down. He goes, so I'll get a shield to protect people. I'm like, yes, you'll get a shield to protect people. I look directly at Tsunade and go, also, flick a playing card at her. She catches it and looks at it. It doesn't have any numbers, symbols, or anything on it. It's got a seal. And I say, put that on your forehead. It'll fix your seal. She says, what do you mean fix it? I go, well, your 100th ceiling is currently as good as you can get it, which only stores yin energy. I just gave you a seal that will help you store yang energy. But for the next 10 or so days, you'll be as tired as a genin who just ran 30 laps around Konoha. 30 laps? Yeah, we have a genin called Lead. I still need to give him that rejuvenation seal. She goes, what seal? I go, it's a seal that turns the ambient chakra around us, also known as nature energy, which is just a malicious thing for a malicious energy that attacks humans whenever they don't know how to control it correctly. So yeah. Well, at this point in time, everybody else is just staring at me again because I'm just jabbering on about stuff that they don't even consider trying to understand. I go, there's only 3 things left that your seal can do. 1, kill you. 2, draw upon nature energy and revitalize you. Or 3, balance out to where the aging stops, but you stay the same. That seal in your hands, even though it has a bit of the rejuvenation thing, I'm sorry, will not bring that back, but will stop your aging from using the seal. And she looks at me and goes, what do you mean that? I pull out a paper and say, this is a report of the fight between you and Hanzo, the salamander. And it directly at her. This is a medical report because I'm also part of the medical staff. I find the worst patients and try to find a way to fix it with seals. I'm sorry, but I cannot bring that back. And I pull it out and give it to her, and she reads it. It reads all my notes and everything that I've put on the margins, and reads what I circled. Conception of a child. I tried everything. With my knowledge of seals, I can't bring it back. I can only slow down the aging to a normal Uzumaki standards and normal Senju standards, but I can't do that. I'm sorry. I've tried everything. The only way that can come back is if you become a sage. And I give you the sage seal. She's like, what is the sage seal? And I go, it's the seal Orochimaru wants. Shizune, Tsunade, and Kakashi immediately snapped their heads towards me and like, what? I go, the sage seal, as he calls it, the curse mark of heaven, hell, and earth, are 3 different seals, which can be in any design, but will give a transformation through mutations in the body. Completely cuts down on your lifespan unless you know how to do it right. He doesn't. But it will when he perfects it, because I've seen my sister's friend's Anko's curse mark. When he perfects it, it will allow him to jump from body to body. The only way to get rid of a sage seal is to add another sage seal. And it's completely forbidden for the toad, slug, and monkey summoners to get a sage seal. And she looks at me and goes, why? I go, 1, toads are natural sages. Monkeys, they know how to use senjutsu. They don't teach their summoners because theirs is way harder to learn. And it has a very big drawback on their summoners when they use sage mode. Slugs. I'm not going to tell you. Bites my thumb. Rubs it over a seal. What looks like an image of a slug after pulling a shirt and jacket back. I rub it over the seal of a slug, and a little small Katsuyu comes up and goes, I know I only called you for medical emergencies. This is an emergency for the sage seal that I'm currently telling Tsunade about. I let Katsuyu go to my hand, and I put her right in front of Tsunade, and she slowly and carefully tells Tsunade what the sage seal does to slug summoners. It doesn't turn them into what you see Orochimaru turn his lackeys into. No. It turns you into an actual slug. A clone of Katsuyu. And you cannot turn back. That's what a sage seal would do. Natural nature energy is so hard to control in the forest where Katsuyu lives, to the point Katsuyu isn't even a sage. She's using her natural processing to jump body to body because they're all connected in this hive mind. So she lives as long as possible so she can keep people away from being a slug sage. The only way to be a slug sage is to have a 10 tails worth of chakra and learn originally from the toads. But since dual contract is really hard to use, and the first contract is signed, you get the energy, nature energy through. Yeah, I'm not gonna even go into that. So everybody is listening to me explain sage mode to her and why she can't use it to reverse the 100 seals on her forehead. I go, I can only stop the negative of your seal. I can't stop what has already been done to you. I'm sorry. I'll try even more of what I can, but it won't happen. So, and Katsuyu looks at me and goes, where is it? I go, I have not signed a summoning contract. This is the 5 greats because I've made a deal with you guys. So I have not officially signed any of your contracts. And she goes, where is it though? I go, it's on my back. It's the biggest one I've made. She goes, it should be the only one you make. I go, you remember what I've told you, the old toad, Enma, Manda, and her, right? And she goes, yes. I go, okay then. So you all know what my situation is and understand why I did it. And she goes, yes, I do understand your situation. I understand why you did it, but I still don't condone you using it. I go, I don't use it. It's just there as a trump card, as an emergency panic button. It's the big red button for the end of the fight when I'm like, I can't do anything else. Let me just try this as the last resort. She goes, fine. Still don't want you to have one. I go, no, duh. And plus, she's regulating it to where only when she deems it necessary can I use it. Just fine, understandable. Go on. I'm done for right now. I go, thank you, Katsuyu. You may go home. She desummons, and they're all like, what do you have? I go, I have my own sage seal. You remember the tiny wolf that comes out every once in a while and Liz plays with? Yeah. She's my regulator for the sage seal. If I'm in the much danger to where that activates, I say run. And they're like, why? And I go, well, first off, there's the downside with my sage seals. You'll lose a little bit about your intelligence. The bigger it is, the more hit you take to the intelligence. Mine's my entire back. And it's so strong that it gave me a forbidden, forgotten technique from the Inuzuka clan. And everybody looks at me and goes, what is it? I go, I ain't telling you guys. It's a forbidden, forgotten technique for a reason. And the only reason why I know about it is because she told me about it. And everybody's like, who is she? And Naruto's like, oh. So it's the origin of the bloodline. I go, yep. And they're like, what? I go, yeah. The origin of the bloodline is pure in the main house. So each branch has their own version of the original bloodline, but the main house has the purest line. And I was born one out of two that were in this original bloodline. I'm only the second albino Inuzuka to ever be born. And which one was the first? The originator of the bloodline. Like, what? I go, yeah. After a while, the albinism came out of the family. Soon married out of the family into a family that also had albinism. And so on. So, well, here I am. Pulls off hood. Blue eyes. Basically bleach blonde hair. Pale as snow. I go, yep. I have albinism. Can't get any skin tone. Can't get any coloration on my skin. Many medical issues that, since chakra came into play, albinism basically has nothing else affecting me besides I get really bad sunburns. And everybody looks at me and goes, sunburns? What's that? I go, so the sun sends down radiation, gives us radiation. Have you ever seen someone go from white to tan? Like, yeah. Well, the sun gives that radiation to us and gives us something called melanin into our skin. Melanin gives us coloration in our skin and so on. Yeah, I can't have melanin in my skin. Yeah, completely can't. So, we're getting off topic. It's like, there was a topic? I go, yeah. Looks at Tsunai and go, you put that on your forehead, channel chakra into it, your seals will activate, and you'll feel tired. Give it a few days. You'll be good as new. Tiredness will slowly fade. And no, it will not give you chakra exhaustion. If it gives you chakra exhaustion, immediately yell for me. Because something went wrong. Either someone messed with your 100 seals while you weren't looking, or I did something wrong with the seal and it could kill you if I don't give you my full attention. And she goes, okay. I look at Shizune and go, you monitor her vitals because she's too stubborn to ask for another doctor. And she goes, you're a doctor? I go, no, I'm a seals master. Technically, I'm a grandmaster, but I haven't had Jiraiya come into the village to test me. And honestly, I don't want Jiraiya in the village. And she goes, why? And I go, he's not a pervert. Everybody snaps their head towards Naruto. I go, sorry. He's not a pervert in the traditional sense. He's a pervert behind closed doors. Not a secret pervert. No, just behind closed doors. Like me. Everybody knows I'm perverted at points, but I don't take it too far. I'm just a normal little pervert. And they're like, wait, you're a pervert? I go, just because I can hide it really well doesn't mean I'm not a pervert. Okay? We're still getting off topic. So I continue laying out what the seal will do. She puts it on her forehead. Goes through everything. We start walking to wave because the game. Naruto won. Naruto has been communicating more with the Kyuubi because, well, the Kyuubi's now not locked away, but is now in a knife. And he gets more freedoms, but also at the same time he's locked tighter. And finally, we get to a puddle in the ground. See where this is going. First off, they see Team 8. Me, Hinata, Shino, Kurenai walking out in the front. Tazuna behind us. Then they see Team 7. Sasuke, Sakura, Naruto is currently looking at the blade, talking to it like a crazy person. And Kakashi. Then they see Tsunade Senju, the Slug Princess, behind them, and Shizune Kato with Tauntaun in her arms. And they're like, well, shit. We can't do crap. I walk right up to the puddle and go, this is a fuzzy puddle. All my team knows exactly what I mean by that. Kurenai and Kakashi already knew. Tsunade is too tired to actually pay attention. And Shizune was like, what? I go, yeah. Since I have a little friend constantly disrupting my chakra at random intervals, and I have somewhat of a chakra imbalance, which is currently fixed and not fixed at the exact same time, which I'll tell you about later. This puddle is fuzzy. Kurenai then goes, every genjutsu he sees that is not an actual real person is or real thing is fuzzy to him. I even took him to the Kurama clan, which has genjutsus that make you basically see everything in your mind and so on. Yeah, nothing worked on him. I go, yeah. So this puddle is fuzzy. And I'm like, so? I immediately grab both heads. I lean down and I grab both heads. They're sweating there. Be like, please don't notice us. Please don't notice us. I grab both heads. I bring them up and go, hey, boys. Hey, friends. Hey, fellas. How's your day going? And they're trying to claw at me, and nothing's breaking through my skin. They're clawing at my jacket. My jacket's slowly ripping. They're trying to claw at my face. Nothing's happening. Finally, one of them shoves their hand in my mouth. And I just bite through it. It's not even kidding. Just, that was rude. Yeah, 3 of their fingers came off with that bite. Now they're screaming. I'm like, screw this. Smack. I slam both heads into each other. and they're out unconscious. I'm like, okay, I got something for Tsunade. Looks at the fingers, kicks them over towards Tsunade. She starts freaking out. I go, Naruto, go help her. He goes, fine. So he walks over to Tsunade and he starts helping her get over her fear of blood and guts and all that crap. All that good life essence flowing out of the veins. No. I'm not actually that kind of person. I'm sorry. But slowly she starts getting over it and she starts seeing Naruto as a little brother again. As in she's starting to see him as family instead of a distant cousin who doesn't know anything. So they're out unconscious. I'm like, should I seal them up? Or should I just kill them here and bring the heads over to whoever hired them? Kakashi's like, I say you seal them. I go, I don't really want to. Sealing would mean I get out a scroll, but if I cut their heads off, I can just put my hand on them and poof them into one of the head seals that I have currently on my palm. I just hold up my hands. There's one on each tip of my fingers and each pad of my fingers. So you see 12 on the left hand, 12 on the right hand, and then one at the base of each finger. So that's 16 on each hand. Not on the thumbs. And they're like, why do you have seals all over you? I go, first off, seals are really useful. Seals won't melt off my skin, and they won't deteriorate like normal tattoos. So I kind of like seals better than tattoos. And they're like, what? I go, you know the Inuzuka fangs on the cheeks? Like, yeah, those are actually seals. And Kurenai's like, what? I go, yeah, the Inuzuka clan has those fang tattoos, and they mark as an Inuzuka. If someone just places a sticker there, if a true Inuzuka comes by, they can, 1, smell them, and 2, feel that the stickers aren't actual Inuzuka clan marks. So, yeah. Be careful when you're infiltrating the Inuzuka clan, because we can feel that they're not true marks. We can feel each other's marks when we get close enough. So, and he goes, then how could I infiltrate? And I go, you mean that physical henge that I actually put the seals on? And he goes, what? So your henge is physical, like you've been told multiple times. But after the incident with my sister, and he goes, you set that up. I go, you have no proof. But that incident with my sister, everybody started smelling you and her on each other, so I'm not going to even get into that. So they already started accepting you. So I set a changeable tattoo on you. And he goes, what? I go, yeah, you know those stickers? You know how I got them wet first? And he goes, yes. I go, well, I got them wet, stuck them to your face, and you infiltrated the Inuzuka clan. They felt the tattoo. They felt the mark. And you pulled them off, washed them off, and I changed back. I go, you only washed off the fake tattoo, not the seals. Have you noticed that after that day, your whisker marks have gotten a little more defined? He goes, no. I go, well, it's so unnoticeable that if you look at it close enough, you can actually see the seals around your whisker mark. You can also do that with the fang tattoo of the Inuzuka clan. If you look close enough, you can actually see the seals around the tattoo. And he goes, oh my God, what is with you and seals? I go, seals can solve anything. Like this. I walk right up to Sasuke, smack him upside the head with a seal, and he just falls down and goes, "No more brood! No more McBroody McBrutus! No more King of Brood!" Sasuke, he's fangirl. She's still a fangirl. Is about to go off. I smack her upside the forehead with another seal. I'm like, "She's silent!" See, seals solve so much. Why is that seal gold? I go, well, silence is gold, and duct tape is silver. Silver can only muffle the sound. And he goes, "Oh my God, you took that too literally." I go, "I know. Every time I put a silencing seal down, it's always on a gold leaf thing." And he goes, "Oh my God, that's why there's so much gold everywhere in your room." I go, "Yeah, it's a little obnoxious." And he goes, "And why can't you see it? Because apparently you can't see it." I go, "Well, I've also put a Genjutsu seal that unless you know about the silencing seal, you won't see it." So to her, I just smacked her upside the head. To everybody else, except her, because she currently can't hear us. To everybody else, we're seeing the seal. Because Kakashi knows about silencing seals. Kurenai, Hinata, Shino, Yu, Tsunade, Shizune, and Tauntaun. Also, can't forget Liz. I don't know about Sasuke because, well, he's currently unconscious. Everybody's looking at me. I go, "Let's continue." I look directly at Tazuna, and Tazuna's eyes are glazed over. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. He doesn't know about silencing seals either." We'll just pull him along. Who's carrying the duck butt Avenger? Because I ain't. Shino, Hinata, and Naruto all went, "Not it." And Kakashi looks at them. Kurenai goes, "I'm not it either." Shizune goes, "I'm currently holding up Tsunade." And they all look at Kakashi, and he's currently reading his porn still. And I go, "Oh yeah, I forgot to activate this before he came." Snap my fingers, a pulse of chakra. All of a sudden, he screams and throws the book. I catch the book and go, "Hee." I walk right up to Tsunade and go, "Oh yeah, here's the page you left off on." And she goes, "How do you know this?" I go, I had my sister write the book." And Naruto goes, "That's why it sounded so familiar." I go, "I had her write the book. And I'm the one who publishes it." It sold so many more copies than Jiraiya's book. That's one half of the business, which is the half I would have given you. She's like, "Damn it, I should have won." I go, "Yeah, I skewed the deck towards you again." And Naruto looks at me deadpan. I go, "It's your damn luck. I ain't trying to knock you off your throne." So, we continue moving. After I cut their heads off and sealed them at the base of my pointer fingers. Sealed their heads off the base of my pointer fingers. And we keep going. It's been multiple days, because how can you get from one land to another at civilian pace in like a day? How can you do that? You can't. So it's been a few days. Finally had a boat. The boatman says, I don't have a boat big enough for you guys. I go, "Don't worry. Most of us know the water walking. And if none of them can actually do it," I whistle. Liz comes out of the forest. And I say, "It's time to show them." And I try to say as quietly as possible, even though Kakashi, Kurenai, Tsunade, because she's better now, and Shizune can barely hear nature, man, God, and in a different language, which they can understand because it's a different village's language that they're using. Wolf Queen. And all of a sudden, after I pulled out my blades, they shifted. They shifted into this. Into these. That's my right blade. That's my left blade. And Liz grew to 10 feet tall. And I went right up to her, strapped the right and left blade on my back, cut all weights on me, walked right up to Liz, snapped something into place, all weights dropped on her, and I go, we'll see at Nami no Kuni. I tossed Tsunade up there, Shizune up there, Naruto up there, or Sakura, Sasuke, Hinata, and Shino, and they all piled up there. Shino, Hinata, and Naruto are all there, dignified. But Tsunade is currently on Liz like a sack of flour or sack of potatoes. Shizune is on there in the same way. Then the Duck Butt Avenger is currently on Shizune. And then, oh no, Duck Butt's on top of his own spot. And Sakura's on top of that. And go, we'll see you there. We're probably going to appear on the bridge. And he goes, what do you mean on the bridge? And I go, yeah, just go to the first support and we'll bring you up that way. And they all look at me like, what? Well, Tazuna looks at me like, what? So does the boatman. So Kakashi goes, you're going to wait for us at the first support beam of the bridge that we can see and take us up that way. I go, yes. He goes, fine. We're hauling off. So we get to the first support beam. And the boatman's like, we're at the first support beam. Where are they? We walk around the edge of the support beam. I currently have them all tied onto Liz's back and in a very undignified manner. I go, don't worry, they're light. I walk right up to Tazuna, toss him on my shoulder, holding his legs. I go, you guys gonna walk with us or what? And they're like, we're gonna walk. I go, okay. So I start walking up, and we get to the underside of the bridge. And I grab the ankle of Tazuna. I walk underneath the bridge. Everybody here's yelling, so I walk to the edge of the bridge. And I now have Tazuna behind me, because I'm at the edge of the bridge, too. And I start walking up the edge of the bridge. I come up, toss Tazuna over the edge. I climb over the edge. So does Liz, Kakashi, and Kurenai. I cut the rope on, well, not technically cut it. I untie the rope on Liz, and Liz drops them unceremoniously. And I release my Bankai, and all my pressure that I was releasing, that all the ninjas felt, immediately vanished. And they see the claws that I have in Shikai, and I go, 3, 2, 1, screaming. Everybody's screaming because we just came over the edge. Tazuna looks like he's dead, even though he's not. So I look directly at Kakashi and go, you know more about diplomatic stuff than I do. And he goes, oh my God, you're the smartest person out of all of us. I go, no, I am not. I'm just very wise. And he goes, okay, write me up a seal for speaking basically a loudspeaker seal. I go, okay. And he goes, exactly my point. I don't actually need one. I have one. I go, then why did you ask me? And he goes, trying to prove a point, but apparently you're oblivious. I go, yeah, I'm pretty much the second dense person in the entirety of Konoha. And he goes, who's the first? I point at Naruto. And he goes, why? I go, well, first off, he didn't know he was a masochist until I pointed it out to him. Makes sense. He didn't see my sister's advances until I literally trapped them in the same room. What else? Oh, yeah. He didn't see Hinata has a crush on him until after Hana brought her to the room. The room. You don't want to know. And they're like, oh, okay. I look at her and I go, I do have a seal for that project you wanted me to do. And she goes, why did you bring it up now? I go, well, when I think of Hana in private settings, I think of the next closest person to what she acts like in private settings, which is Anko. Which I know that's not exactly what she acts like in private settings, but that's what I think of. So you want the seal now or later? Because now you have time to adjust to it, understand it, and then be able to use it when you get home. And she goes, now. I go, okay. It's like a sage seal, but it's a genetic seal. And everybody looks at me like, what's the difference? I go, well, one brings in nature chakra. The other one uses nature chakra to eventually edit the original user's genetics to add or subtract certain things. And I gave her one and say, when Anko gets there, when you see Anko next, give her this one. And she goes, why? And I go, first off, it has 2 seals on it. It's got another sage seal or curse mark on it. But call it a sage seal so she can actually put it on her without thinking of the Orochipido. And make sure that when she puts it on, she puts it in a non-visible spot. Because if it comes off before a week is out, it won't be completed. I roll it up and put it in a little tube and say, only she can touch it. If you want to put it on her, you put it on with gloves. Because it will immediately attach to any skin it finds and start imprinting. She goes, understandable. I go, where do you want it? She goes, I can put it in a private spot. I go, understandable. Here you go. And she goes, why are you holding it? I go, I'm not. I'm using chakra to float above my hand. And she goes, so gloves are needed. Kakashi pulls out a set of gloves and tosses them to Kurenai. And I go, see? Always ask your friends for help. She goes, we're not friends. I go, so what about this time, this date, this thing happened? I go into more detail in her ear, and she goes, how the hell do you know about that? She starts glaring at Kakashi. She goes, what? What did I do? And she goes, he knows about that. And he goes, how the hell do you know about that? I go, I snuck into the printing press of Jiraiya's books and kind of upgraded his spy network. Because you would be surprised how many strong individuals actually buy his books. And Tsunade scoffs. I go, you'd be surprised. You want to know? She goes, prove me wrong. I go, Tsuchikage, Gato, all the workers around us, because we're still at the bridge. Flinch, Zabuza. How about this one? This one's a good one. The Rakeage, the previous Rakeage, which was surprising. When did you do this? I go, 6 years ago. I went on a clan hunting a day, and well, I snuck out. Mom was kind of pissed, but I snuck out of the field. I got back into Konoha. Mom was pissed because she couldn't find me, because she wanted to help me and make sure I was still alive. She found Liz perfectly fine. Liz knew not to take her to me yet. And so she was going around in circles. Finally found me. I was grounded for the next week. Totally worth it, though. Sandame. Well, he's a pervert, so understandable. Oh, here's one that you might not want to hear. What? Danzo Shimura. Did you know he's gay? Everybody's eyes widen. I go, yeah. Yeah, apparently he likes the version my sister makes. Yeah, he's into S&M apparently. It's very surprising. Currently, there's a root drone following us and overhearing everything I'm saying. And their immediate reaction to secret spell spilt by Danzo is to protect him. Because they're programmed to know everything about Danzo, to know when his secrets are being spilled. So he appears and says, you know too much about Danzo-sama. You must die. I immediately grab him by the face, pull out his tongue, because I threw out kicked off the mask before I grabbed him by the face. Pulled out his tongue and pressed my thumb into it. The seal immediately went splat. And then what he truly wanted to say was revealed. You know too much about Danzo-sama's private time. I go, I know. And he starts activating a seal on his chest. My thumb comes out, and I jam my thumb into his skin. Like through his skin. And the seal goes splat again. Well, actually bubbles out of his chest this time. And everybody's looking at me like, how the hell are you doing this? I go, well, first off, pull out my thumb and go, this is a Grandmaster grade Uzumaki seal. Look at Naruto and go, you remember that blood you gave me? Thank you for that. And he goes, what did you do with the blood? I go, well, first off, I went into your father's compound, and I can't tell you where it is. I sealed it up again, just to make sure, just to tell you about that. I went into your father's compound and touched nothing but the Uzumaki seals, because I wanted to make sure I got it right. This is a grade 12 Grandmaster Uzumaki seal. And yes, the Uzumaki had multiple levels. 1 through 3 is novice. Nobody can't do these seals in the Uzumaki clan. Remember that sealing book that I gave you? The one that was super freaking easy? Yep, that was our novice level. Then adept. seal levels 1 through 6. Remember those books? He goes, yeah, the ones that were sort of easy. And I go, yeah, those ones. Then it's levels 1 through 10, Journeyman. Then 1 through 11, Master. Then 1 through 12, Grandmaster. So, like, there's a lot more books than we thought. I go, yeah. Only the Uzumaki can really understand the last few, unless you dedicate your entirety of your life to understand them. First thing I tried to understand, sealing. Made me an honorary member of the Uzumaki clan via clan rules. If the first thing we're introduced is sealing instead of words, you become an immediate honorary member Uzumaki for sealing only. So I only touched sealing stuff. I did shuffle some scrolls around from easiest to hardest. And he goes, what order? The easiest are currently the S ranks, and the hardest are currently the D ranks. And Naruto looks at me and goes, is it because of my large reserves? I go, you don't just have large reserves, my friend. You have the largest. Well, technically the second largest currently. The largest would have to be B from the Raikage's family. But B only is like that because Gyuki, and Gyuki's the 8 tails bull octopus thing. And, well, yeah. Are we going to go to the old drunk's house? Everybody just flinches as I'm like changing the subject again. I'm like, just because my ADD and my ADHD and the weird mental illnesses that all the civilians are claiming. And everybody looks at me and goes, how do you know those? I go, well, first off, the civilians tried to take over the academy. I'm sorry, but no. Civilians cannot take over the academy. It is a shinobi academy for a reason. So yeah, the Shinobi Council has control of that. And the civilians are like, you better give us the control or we're going to bankrupt the village. Ha! 90% of the businesses are run by shinobi. In secret. So yeah, that didn't work. What else? Oh yeah. We're currently walking to Tazana's house after pushing him forward and say, lead the way. But we're also trying to fix the Uzumaki clan's reputation. And everybody looks at me and goes, the Uzumaki clan's reputation? What? Oh yeah. Who was it? Who's it? Oh yeah. Danzo. And what was his name? One of the old bats on the council. Homura? Yeah, I think it was Homura. Him and Danzo schemed to get rid of the Uzumaki clan's history from the village. One, fixed Homura. He's a lot better now. He's not planning on overtaking the Hokage anymore, or with Danzo. But he still acts like that because, well, he's an informant. Again. What do you mean again? Well, Danzo Shimura, Shinobi no Yami, he's the stain on the village. He's a blight to Konoha. Now that he can't have the Kage's seat, he's like, I'm going to put a puppet in place and rule it that way. And have them change this village for his ideals. That ain't gonna work. The old man's too stubborn. So we're getting towards it. We're heading towards Tasuna's house. And I'm currently talking. And I hear in the distance a scream. I just disappear. And everybody's like, what? What the fuck just happened? I arrive at Tasuna's house where the scream came from, and I see the door kicked in. Haku standing outside. And Zabuza grabbing Tsunami by the hair. And Ari doing nothing. I go, well, this is one way he can get his payment. But there's another. Both Zabuza and Haku jump at my voice because I currently have concealing seals on me that help me conceal my chakra. And Zabuza's like, who the hell are you? I'm like, I would say your worst nightmare, but I believe that you've had worse. What is her name? May, I think? Yeah, I think it was May. Boiling you from the inside out. After you say you're too old to do something, and she thinks that you said that she's too old to get laid, and takes it complete out of context, and makes you absolutely terrified. And he goes, how the hell do you know this much about me? I go, I know a lot that I shouldn't know. Like, Kisame Hoshigaki is a double agent for the rebellion. You are actually a good guy. Sadly, I really wanted to fight you. You're actually a good guy who sees the girl over there. And he twitches a little because I said Haku's true gender. The girl over there, as a daughter, twitches again because he didn't say it to Haku for a reason. He didn't want to seem weak. Haku twitched too because she didn't know that. I go, I also know how far Haku's obsession with you is going. Sadly. And Haku twitches at that. Zabuza notices the twitch and goes, what do you mean? How far it's going? I go, well, you see as her daughter and she sees you as her savior. And am I right to say that she messed up a lot in training? And he goes, yeah. More than even a normal genin. I go, that's fair. All of a sudden, you hear Senbon hitting the ground. I go, hey! Just because I'm telling your secrets doesn't mean you can shut me up with a Senbon to the neck. Zabuza didn't even see her move because she was trying to hide something. And he goes, what are you hiding? And she goes, nothing. Nothing at all. They go, don't worry. We have one in my friend is one too. I am not trying to out you as one for a gag or anything. I'm just trying to inform Zabuza that to get you to do better in training, he's got to do something different. And he goes, what do you mean something different? I go, well, instead of a negative reinforcement, try a positive reinforcement. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, instead of when she does something bad, tell her or she can't work out or train for, let's say, a week. And behind Haku's mask, she goes pale. like really, really pale. And I go, or here's the even better one. She cannot physically touch, harm, or do anything to herself for 3 months. Zabuza starts hearing a growling from Haku, and he's like, what will that do? I go, well, first off, Haku's a masochist, if you haven't noticed. He goes, oh, what? I go, someone who enjoys pain on themselves. Sadists enjoy giving out pain. So you! He goes, yeah, I kind of do enjoy giving out pain. I go, yeah. Well, masochists will do anything to get hurt again. So if you tell them they're getting praised for some, so like, how should I say this? Oh yeah, this is how should I say this. If she does something wrong, you pat her head and say, do it again. If she does something right, smack her on the ass. Now her face is burning red with rage, embarrassment, and the idea of that happening. And he goes, huh? I immediately walk up to Haku, who's currently growling at me, and we basically see steam coming off of her. And I go, I'm just showing him proof. Grabs the corner of the mat, the side of the mask, and pulls it off. Tsunami is currently in there, just trying to get away from Zabuza. And I'm just throwing them off because, as well, I'm me and I like chaos. Not everything has to be a fight scene. Duh. So, I'm going to end this soon. Sorry. So I go, see? She's red from anger, embarrassment, and the idea of you doing this stuff to her. And he looks at her and goes, okay. I'll have to experiment. And all of a sudden, a trickle of blood comes out of her nose, thinking of how Zabuza's going to experiment on her. I go, that's a new fetish I've not seen. And he goes, what? Enjoying being a test subject. Never seen that before, but there's always new fetishes out there anywhere. So, now, what will it take you to stop working for Gato? He goes, quite a few things. One is proof that Gato will betray us, and 2 is a lot more freaking money. I go, well, how much is paying for you? Because I can easily double it. And proof pulls out a scroll and tosses it to him. That came in this morning. He goes, what came in this morning? I'm like, every day, the previous days, basically, how should I say this? Recordings are put on a scroll. Each country has its own scroll. That is Nami no Kuni's, and I currently looked over it. That's Gato's from yesterday. He reads through it, and he's about to crumple it. I yank it from him, going, don't ruin the scroll. And he goes, fine. I go, watch. I roll the scroll out a little further, and I can scroll all between who's talking and who's not. And he's like, how the hell are you doing that? Magic. He goes, no, literally, how? Stealing. He goes, oh. Okay. I go, now, I gotta go back to my team, which is currently trying to find me. Talk to you later, and hope you skedaddle first. Bye. appears back next to my team and go, problem is solved. Looks at Tazu and say, I suggest you go comfort your daughter and grandson. And he goes, why? I go, well, Zabuza was going to abduct her to trade you for her. I stopped that. No violence. Well, maybe for Zabuza's apprentice. But she'll enjoy that. She's like Naruto. Anyway, talk to you guys later. Remember, you steal my time, I waste yours. So yeah. Bye.